Coming to you from Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge in Ingalls, Indiana, Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge. It's Final Third Friday.
Welcome back to Final Third Friday. I'm Rob.
And I'm Isaiah. We got our friend Scott DeShong with us today.
Hey, everybody.
And today we're going to be smoking the Knuckle Sandwich Chef Special. This has a hybrid Habano wrapper with Nicaraguan binder and filler. Another great knuckle sandwich offering that Guy and Eric Espinosa got together and made. So we're going to be smoking that today.
And we are drinking OKI Reserve. So OKI Reserve was originally a New Riff brand. This was kind of how they started off. OKI is Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, which makes sense if you've ever been to the New Riff distillery because all the states are within a couple miles of where they're at. But this is all sourced MGP juice. It's you got 8 to 10-year-old bourbon all the way down to 3 to 8-year-old bourbon. So
is it all Indiana or all Lawrenceburg, or is it actually a mix of Ohio, Kentucky,
they
Indiana?
They are proudly stating it on the back.
Okay.
It says,
I wasn't sure if it
distilled
was mixed.
in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. So
Why
they're
not?
not trying
Okay.
to fool anybody.
Well, you start looking at the blend on that thing and the percentages and all that stuff like that. They put a lot of work into creating this blend.
Did. Yeah, and
it's good.
a fantastic blend.
It's very good. Now, full disclosure, we're sitting here waiting for our FedEx truck driver to show up because we have our Peach Street truck coming today.
All right.
So we should be getting some cases of that, which by the time this airs, we'll already have it on the shelf. He'll be ready to go. But we were hoping to have it for the pairing today. But we'll see. If he shows up in the middle of this, then we might punt and actually grab another bottle.
Yeah, double pairing for you today.
That man, I feel like, a real special guest being able to have the potential of two great whiskeys.
Man, I hope we get it because I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Didn't you have some samples come in?
I did.
and
I
got
thought
a-
for sure you tried it.
No,
And
I
here's
must
the
have
deal.
missed that.
Rob and I haven't even tried it in its latest rendition.
Yeah.
First of all, it's aged for a couple more months. Second of all, it's 5 proof points higher.
Yeah.
I remember you talking about that last night.
Yeah.
Getting a little worried when they're telling you it's going to be a different proof, and
Yeah.
then happy
Then
when
it
they tell you
goes
it's
up.
higher.
Yes,
That's always good
yeah.
news.
Yeah, because our first rendition of that was 117, and I didn't realize at that time they had proofed it down to 117. So, which maybe they didn't. It could have come out of the barrel at 117 at that point. I don't know.
It
I
just
wouldn't think a
depends on
couple
the
of months
season,
would have
yeah.
jumped 5 points, but who knows? All right, so
Ooh, I like that.
how are you cutting yours straight?
Yeah,
I'm gonna go V on mine.
I'm straight, man. I'm
I
always a
know.
straight cut guy.
Are ya?
That's how I roll.
Scott used my Zycar XO because he's thinking about grabbing one.
Yeah, I'm thinking real hard about that. I'm glad my wife doesn't watch the show, so I don't have to. I can comment on that openly.
Yeah,
all right? I don't have to worry about that. Thanks, Lisa. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's gonna call me out.
It'll be bought by the time anything happens.
Exactly.
These lights are starting to bother me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a Figurado. So obviously, when you start with the cold draw in on the initial light, it's going to be tight. But once you get past the collar, it opens up and all the flavors pop on this thing.
Yeah, on the cold draw, there's quite a bit of that like raisin sort of fig sweetness, and it almost reminds me of Raisin Bran cereal with that slightly hay sort of thing.
That and also
like
just
you
a little bit
cracked
of barnyard going there.
Yeah, I could see that as well.
Which might be the brand kind of you're thinking of.
Yeah,
I get that raisin that you're talking about. That's,
Yeah.
that's actually pretty prominent.
yeah. Which it's a common note on tobacco across the board. It's just, I don't know, something about dried fermented things all tasting the same. I'm lighting today with the Colibri Stealth 3. Been rocking this one for quite a few months, and it's great.
Yeah, I'm lighting with the Ascari Colibri as well. So, we could have given you my lighter to use if you wanted to.
That's okay. One of the great things I love about your lounge here, Rob, is that every table has lighters and cutters on it. I don't have to worry about bringing my own, even if I got a preference. Still know I'm going to come in and get what I need, and I'm not chasing people down. So,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, these guys work just fine for me.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, forever we had those Vortex lighters on, and there's still a couple wandering around, but we've switched over to the Firebirds, which is a Colibri brand, and I actually feel like the tank's quite a bit bigger on those Firebirds.
It is. It is.
And they feel better. So either way, gotta love them. I'm working right now on this cigar, slowly opening up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
starts-
pretty
definitely
snug
starts
on the
tight.
beginning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But right now, there's quite a bit of that, like, Habano sort of cinnamon presence for me.
Yeah.
On the palate. The Retro Hail doesn't have much spice, but that's also because I'm not getting a huge draw quite yet.
Yeah, nothing to retro yet.
You know, I'm always surprised at in the last year how much I've learned on that very first puff from the cigar and trying to get some flavor, because you are getting more in a lot of cases of that wrapper right
Yeah.
at the initial.
Yeah.
And it's really impressive. You can get some really unique flavors in your first, second draw, and then they kind of go away.
Yeah.
Right? Because then you're getting the entirety of the cigar.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out what it was, but that first draw right there had just a unique kind of little bite to it that was nice. It kind of popped open my palate and got it ready for the rest of the cigar.
Yeah, my first puff, I actually had to, you probably saw me cut it a second time. I didn't get it deep enough. I had to go a little deeper with that Figurado to get a good draw going. But now that I got that, the spice is popping up
And
good
there's
on the Retro Hail.
distinct red pepper on the Retro Hail
Yes,
for me.
and even on the tongue, after
Yeah.
after you blow out the smoke, the tongue still got that spice.
yeah, it kind of a bready quality, kind of cinnamon on the palate.
Yeah.
But
And this one, if you've ever smoked the Knuckle Sandwich Habano, it's very similar. I mean, I kind of feel like it's somewhere between the Habano and the Maduro, and it is in strength, but I also feel like there's some darker notes in this one that you don't get out of the Habano, but not near as dark as what you get out of the Maduro.
Totally.
So it's a good combo. And we got quite a few of these available still, so if you're looking to try these, I don't know how long they're going to be here because these were a special release. But we've got quite a few of these left, so you'll be able to get one hopefully in the next few weeks.
And honestly, if you can't, the rest of the Knuckle Sandwich line is excellent. So it's
Absolutely.
it's nice to know you got something else backing it up within this same branding.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and I mean, if you're watching this down the road and it's way past these cigars, the Knuckle Sandwich Habano is going to give you a very similar game as what this one's going to give you. So,
yeah, it definitely doesn't have that same kind of chocolate backing that you get from the Maduro.
No.
But that's nice. I know you and I were talking about this, how I feel like I need to expand my cigar knowledge to get a little bit more into some of the variances that I don't traditionally smoke and kind of learn a little bit more. So
Yeah.
this is the first time I've had this one,
Right.
which is surprising. I know.
Yeah.
Right? I've explored most of the humidor, but I'm already enjoying it.
well, good. Yeah, Rob, what do you think about that with the OKI Reserve?
man, that's it's. I hate when people say this, but I'm gonna say it. This is actually really pretty. It's got a really pretty, floral, sweet. It's not too. I mean, it's got some spice to it just because it's a first drink of the morning, but I don't know. It's got that nice floral, fruity, and even some deeper
Yeah, there's
not
some
caramel,
there's
but like
some
a
more
really
like brown
thick-
sugar
Yeah.
notes in there.
Yeah, more brown sugar, but it's almost like thick coating on the tongue.
And it kind of reminds
Very
me of
viscous.
an almost grape note. In
Yeah,
there.
it reminds me of a higher proof brandy.
Kinda
In a
does,
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that cinnamon quality, I don't know whether it's from the cigar or whether it's innately present in the whiskey too. That's sticking around for me.
Yeah.
Like kind of those
I dig
baking
it.
spice notes.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd quite call it all the way to cinnamon.
Yeah.
Right? I agree with you. The baking spice note backing
Yeah.
is there.
Yeah.
I'm kind of, touchy to cinnamon. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, when it hits hard.
So with this, going to the cigar after that, first retrohale, you blow it out. It's like, oh, spice is gone. Then all of a sudden, it just hits you in the back of the nose. You're like, yeah, there it is. But it hangs on the tongue.
Yeah.
And the spice really builds on the
Definitely
tongue.
does.
Kind of a cool little pairing.
Yeah.
Definitely intensifies the spice notes more than the sweet notes on
It
both
does,
sides this
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Which is usually the opposite. Usually the cigar and whiskey kind of end up playing with the fruitier, sweeter notes, but this one's going spicy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Man, Isaiah's got to run out in the rain and set up our generator in a minute.
Yeah, it's a lovely, lovely day outside with all those storms coming through.
We'll let Lisa do it.
You know, one thing I like, the OKI has a really nice long finish to it.
Oh, it does.
It does.
And I kind of feel like you could probably take a puff of your cigar at different times and almost get a different flavor combination, right?
Yeah.
If you let it sit and hang for 30 seconds before you go to the cigar, you know, especially you've given your cigar some time to kind of relax a little bit, and then you get a nice puff from it. It's just a different kind of flavor pairing than what you get if you just kind of get right into both of them.
Yeah. Well, and this one's going very similar, going either direction too. You're still getting that spice, but I haven't really gone from cigar to whiskey yet, so I'll try that this time.
Yeah, the thing about these figurados and the torpedo type, like every time you have a closed end, you kind of got to touch it up as you're getting into it to make it burn. Well,
But you saw me doing that now, and it's actually great.
I'm
now.
about to touch mine up, but just got to give it a second. But
So that brought
just,
in, so going that direction, you know, whiskey last, it brought some toasty notes out of the bourbon, or out of the, I guess is that bourbon?
Yeah.
It is bourbon, yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember because it had
I'm
such a
not
weird,
sure.
it has such a weird
I think it's
combo
just a
of
whiskey.
stuff.
What's it say?
No, bourbon whiskey, blended bourbon.
Yeah.
Bourbon whiskey. So, but it definitely is hanging like a dark toast on the tongue.
Yeah, I
get that at all?
got that. I got
Okay,
that very
okay.
heavy, actually. As soon as
Thought
you
maybe that
said
was me.
toast, no, I immediately thought of not quite like not like a toasted barrel, but actually kind of a bit of a bready toast.
Yeah, bready toast.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
The other thing is
A rye.
in that whiskey, it's pulling out almost a floral vanilla note in it. Going
the whiskey?
going from smoke to sip.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely leaning on the floral side, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
It's not like candy vanilla.
No. Well, we are now past, well, when we're recording this, we're in the heart of our anniversary week.
Yeah.
But when this actually airs, last week was our anniversary week, and just want to thank everybody that came out and supported us. We had some great prizes and busy all week. We've had got to see a lot of people that maybe we saw earlier on that want to come out and celebrate with us. It's been a great week.
It has.
It's been a busy week, but it's been a great week.
Yeah. It's been fantastic to see everybody come out, all of the support we've gotten, and seems like people were really excited about what got set out this week. Like,
Yeah.
all the warheads, the knuckle sandwich Habano test blends,
The Ravens.
Yeah. Are there
tho-
some aged Cameroons somewhere in there?
Yeah, but they're only a year age.
Oh, okay.
I was going to sit on those for another few years or a couple more years.
I gotcha.
I actually could put one box out today, but I don't know if a year is going to do enough to it to really. Maybe we need to check that out for science later.
I think we should probably figure that
I
out.
like that idea.
Yeah, we
that
probably
sounds-
just figure it out.
I
It's
forgot
science,
those
man.
are back
Yeah.
there, and they've been there for a year and
They've been there
2
a
months.
little over a year. Yeah.
Yeah, and who knows how long they age down there? Because they always age your stuff down there at least 3 or 4 years before they ship it. So
Yeah.
I'll have to. I'll get those out. I forgot about that.
We'll have to
I like that. I
do
like
some
how you guys are
sciencing.
thinking.
Yeah.
But I will say, not that it matters on this here, but those all sold out pretty quick. I've had to actually keep some back and put like 2 or 3 out a day because people were ready to grab. And I'm like, limit two.
Yeah. Yeah. Serious.
So it was good, and it was also cool. I was just seeing Kevin come in. That's why I thought that would shout out. Got a drink because I mentioned someone's name. Just gets us drunk quicker.
Okay.
And a lot of people come out every day this week to get a ticket. I'm like, that's cool because they're seeing that there's a really cool value. I mean, we got like $1,500 worth of giveaways plus all the discounts on the merch and stuff.
yeah.
And people have really taken advantage of them. We sold a crap ton of Calibri this week.
Good.
And almost all of our wood hats are almost gone. I mean, we've got very few left. I got to get a reorder already on those. We've only had them for a week. So it's been great. It's been great.
That's great.
So if you are looking for one of these hats, these things are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That whiskey wood on top of it, they're great hats.
Yeah.
You know, I picked out a kind of a new tasting note on this,
Okay.
and it's one I don't know that I've ever picked out before. And it's not bad. I got to preface it because it's going to sound weird.
Okay.
But there is a very small vegetal sulfur note.
I get a little vegetal. I don't know if I could call it sulfur because I'm not sure what that is.
Talking like the
it's-
rotten egg thing.
Well, yeah, kind of that, but it's more kind of the salty side of that, not the nasty side of that. Because
Okay,
sulfur can have kind of that salty,
Yeah,
and,
I know what
then, and then the rotten egg
almost
side.
like the anchovy
I'm
saltiness.
thinking more like kind of like a cooked spinach that's been with bacon. So you're getting kind of that there's that sulfury smell that can come out of it, but
Yeah.
when you add like the smoky bacon quality, which you get kind of some of those fatty elements
Yeah.
from a lot of bourbons, and I've just never really noticed that, and I think it's only the combination with both. I think it's
Could
the
be.
cigar first going to the bourbon. It's kind of bringing out those, and I'm actually really liking it.
Yeah.
like it's really pleasant.
So this
and
is a
different.
weird one, just like you do when you're doing whiskey or wine. You have different regions of the tongue and mouth where you get different flavors. I'm getting that on the tip of my tongue. That's
Yeah.
where the flavor is for me. I'm getting that kind of vegetal, and like you said, like
I
spinach.
can see that. Yeah.
Just on the tip of the tongue, nowhere else. Just on the tip of the tongue. Is that where you're getting
Yeah,
it? too?
actually, I'm getting it towards the back, and now
Okay.
that I think about it, it's probably so.
Is it more of an umami note?
Umami. That's exactly where I was going to go
Gotcha.
with it.
Yeah.
Yep. That's. I was trying to think of what is that because I know that flavor.
Yeah.
And I know they changed. A few years ago, like the science diagrams about what you taste, and umami's actually designated as an actual flavor
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
which
umami's
that's
one of
your
the-
that's your savory receptor.
yeah, which is
It's
nice.
It's one of those. I think it's at 5 notes you can get without actually retrohaling. To go beyond that, and when you're retrohaling, you can actually pull out specific notes because you're kicking in your olfactory and your brain's remembering those flavors.
Yeah.
But it's like it's savory, spicy, fruity.
Sweet and bitter.
Yeah, maybe is it sweet and bitter?
Yeah, not fruity. It'd be sweet and bitter
Sweet and bitter.
umami.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not fruity. That's right. Sweet. Oh yeah, that's it. Okay,
Yeah.
so is that 4 then or 5?
Sour.
Sour.
Sour's the
Yep.
other one. Yeah. Okay.
Speaking of all of those things, I keep listening to other cigar podcasts, and there are people that are wrecking their palates before they're hopping on and recording. And here is the thing I will tell you.
I got triggered today on that one too.
There are 3 things to avoid if you want to be able to taste well.
Or you want to communicate an actual flavor in
I
a
don't-
cigar.
I
Please
was
don't
here.
say it was a McDonald's breakfast sandwich because I had one
There
about an
are
hour
3
ago, so.
things you want to avoid. Fatty foods. Like French fries, stuff like that. Things that will coat your palate fatty.
It was a McDonald's breakfast sandwich.
You're not going to be able to taste as well. Now, granted, if you're having like bacon on toast or something like that, a lot of that fattiness isn't going to cover. But if you're
Yeah.
just having straight up bacon or like eggs and cheese, that's just like you went crazy on the butter. Like that's going to coat your palate. If you're drinking a milkshake before you smoke a cigar, you're done.
Or
Just
you're
don't
eating
even worry about it.
Mexican or
Well,
all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah.
next 2 would be acidic and bitter. Anything acidic or anything bitter is going to ruin your palate for cigars as well.
Yeah.
High acidity things will change the way you perceive others. Like,
Yeah.
I have had some like wine tastings, and then people be like, "Hey, let's go and do a bourbon tasting." You can't taste the bourbon. Like it just doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
Like especially after you've had a very subpar dry red wine that's more like acidic than you ever thought one could get. Like that'll absolutely blow out your palate. Then I'll say bitter things as well. Like something like an Amaro.
Yeah.
If it is lightly bitter, whatever. But if it is a distinctly bitter flavor, like a rhubarb pie, something like that, it's
gonna hang on your palate
just
for a
don't
while.
worry about it.
So what about palate repair?
Palate repair. I have begun to think it happens, well, 2 ways. 1, over time, and 2, with familiar things. If you're looking for palate repair, sparkling water is a great place to start. Like something refreshing, something to clean your palate off.
I've also always done, just raw almonds.
Yeah.
You can chew those
Oh,
up, and it
that's a
cleans
good
the
one.
palate off, and you don't get a residual flavor
And
note.
I would say some crackers, not like
Some
your
crackers.
butter flavored crackers,
Yeah,
like oyster
straight up
crackers or like
saltine
the
something without the
saltines.
salt.
Yeah. That's a great way to go about it. And then the next thing is after I'm done with like sparkling water or saltine crackers, whatever it is, I will try a bourbon that I know.
That is so important. You bring up such a great point, right? I had COVID, when it was all going around, and I actually found that I kind of forced myself to repair my palate by going to flavors that I knew.
Yeah.
And it really helps set a baseline so that when you go to try and experience something that you don't know,
Yeah.
you know that you're starting from something that's a known element. You're not messed up right now.
Absolutely.
Isaiah really only does that because after breakfast he wants to check his palate, so he has some bourbon. After lunch he wants to check his palate. He has some bourbon.
Just go back
get
to
you
the old
some more
JTS
drinks.
Brown. And,
Oh, yeah.
It is JTS
It is
Brown
JTS
for
Brown
me.
for him for sure.
Always is, and people who've listened to this for a while will know that. Other kind of category that will mess up your palate is extremely spicy. Spicy food, it kind of feels like it just enlightens all of your flavor receptors, like it affects them in some way that you're able to still taste properly after, but it's super heightened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like all of your flavor receptors are in shock.
Well, you're damaging. I mean, you are physically damaging your
nerves.
tongue, right? Your
Yeah.
nerves, because it's a crystal, right? It's that capsaicin, and that's actually like it'll burn you.
Yeah.
Right? You can't touch it.
Yeah.
Because it'll burn you. So yeah, you're absolutely doing that, which is gonna make your nerves extra sensitive, and then it's gonna cause some changes.
The only thing that is able to fix let's say you went and you had a spicy like hot chicken sandwich and you were like, oh, let's go drink some bourbon. You're not gonna be able to taste that. Wait till the next day.
Yeah. Or at least don't buy a good
At least,
pour.
yeah.
Yeah.
Give yourself a couple hours minimum before
Yeah.
you're gonna try something. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
Because
true.
otherwise, it's gonna shock your palate.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. Like you eat something spicy, even drinking a beer. Sometime you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, don't sit down after eating and then drink and then tell everybody what your bourbon should taste like, because you don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well,
You don't know.
you don't know.
you're kind
or
of
your cigar, for that matter.
You're kind of bringing up another interesting point here is that, we do pair cigars and bourbon and even wines and beers with food and so
Yeah.
on, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
they can accentuate each other.
They can.
I think there is a big difference between critical tasting and then doing something unique and fun in trying to pair some of these elements.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
But I really like what you're saying, because if you're going to be telling other people what your thoughts are about, a bourbon or a cigar,
Yeah.
you want to be able to do it with a clean palate and having a base of knowledge that, that you're actually giving something that's going to be helpful.
Yeah.
Versus not, because, for all I know, a McDonald's breakfast sandwich I had 2 hours ago might have brought out the whole umami
Probably.
side of this.
No,
you never
probably
know,
not,
right? It's-
No,
It
2
probably
hours
didn't,
ago,
but-
you're fine. Yeah.
But it is interesting to see how that constantly changes, right? And
Yeah.
your palate, it gets manipulated that way by what you're eating and drinking.
Like, think about a steak dinner. If you're pairing a steak, a pour, and a cigar. Let's say I'm going for my regular order. I'm going ribeye. I'm not a big filet guy. Not much flavor there, as far as beefiness. That's my own thing. You have the steak there, and then you'll have a side like asparagus, which is slightly acidic to help cut through the fat there.
Yep.
So it's like you're able to then have a clean palate every time you go back to that steak because you're eating asparagus that typically does have some sort of lemon juice or something on it to make it lighter and more refreshing. Like along with that, you need a pour that can hold up to the steak. Depending on how it's cooked is going to depend what that pour is. If that has touched any charcoal, has heavy sear marks on it, whatever, you're probably going to want something higher proof or something like an Islay Scotch.
Yeah. So you're not going to go after like a Bernheim Wheater.
No.
Right? It's just not. It's
or an
still
Irish
too
or
delicate.
something like that. It's just too light.
And after that, you talk like, let's say you had a steak that has kissed a flame in some sort. You have that asparagus. You got your pour. Well, you want a cigar after dinner. I'm sorry, but your Connecticut is not going to show up.
No.
Like
That's for
it's,
sure.
it's just not.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're going to be smoking air and you'll be sad about it.
Well, and the good thing about that too is if you just had a good meal with a big steak, even if you're a milder smoker, you can smoke something a little more full bodied after a meal, and you're not going to get a buzz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you might get if you're on an empty stomach.
I mean, and you're going to have still some of that fat from a ribeye coating your mouth. So something like one of my favorite things is something like a San Andreas wrapper. You're getting those chocolatey and coffee notes. It just
you're going to accentuate it.
And it's a different note region than you've been in for the rest of that dinner. Like chances are whatever you're drinking doesn't have chocolatey or coffee notes, or that steak will kind of have some of those darker tasting notes, but it's not going to be there. So you get into something that's spicy with those darker tasting notes. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the contrast stuff that you're really looking for.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, look, you have a big steak and everything. It's not to say that you can't have that Connecticut, but you better have something with it that helps everything kind of lighten up.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you're having some sort of like lemon meringue that the sugar's a little bit less and you got those egg whites on there, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Then suddenly you're like, okay, now I'm pairing, some sort of, lighter whiskey or other cocktail that can make a big difference.
What you're
You
doing
might
is
be
you're
able
kind of cleansing your palate by doing that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Going to a meringue or even if you're doing like a fruity drink as you're finished, like an old fashioned or something like that, that's going to kind of cleanse your palate from some of those fatty notes. Then you could get into a different cigar possibly. Yeah. But if you're doing a neat pour, you might not be able to do that.
Other thing is a lot of times after I've had a dinner like that, my palate's just an overload. I've had quite a few drinks during it. Like you ate a freaking seafood tower, all of the things.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to taste anything. What's my go-to? A drink like a Boulevardier. It's a Campari drink. It is bitter, but it's not so bitter that it's going to blow your palate. It just wakes something else up and kind of refreshes you so that like, hey, maybe I get a pour of like Jack Daniel's Single Barrel after this. I'm able to actually taste that now again. Or
it's a good alternative to an espresso.
Yeah. Maybe I go to a cigar after this.
So yeah, I've got a go-to, man. My absolute go-to is to get a good brandy or cognac with some fresh berries, summer berries, and some sweet cream.
Wow.
And that is just like, I mean, that pairs so perfectly.
Flavor
and
overload
to me,
almost. I mean,
it
not
is,
overload, but
in that case,
pairing.
like if you do a cigar with that, it's almost like the cigar becomes the palate cleanser from that, right? Because you've got a lot of these sweet elements going on.
Yeah.
And so getting those things that have some more of the pepper or, some of those dark chocolate, kind of the bittery notes that you're looking for, the cigar itself acts as the balance between what you're drinking and eating for dessert.
Yeah. That's something because we're doing pairings on here. That's something we ought to do when we get into summer and start smoking some meat out here is actually do a pairing with the food. So whatever we're smoking that day.
Yeah. Hard part with a lot of smoked meat is you're talking like a perfectly done smoked brisket is dripping in fat.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like Chris and Will's wings.
Yeah,
those wings
like
would be amazing with that light seasoning they put on it.
A
That would
pulled
be
pork.
nice.
Yeah.
A pulled pork could actually work because,
yeah,
I mean, they got a fatty element to them, but it does not.
I mean,
it's not
especially
nearly
if
like
you're
a
going to
brisket.
use something like a Carolina style barbecue sauce,
Yeah.
which has some of that acidity.
Yes.
It's gonna help balance that out quite a bit. And
this segment brought to you by 3 fat guys that want to eat.
that's a little truer than I would like to admit right now. I haven't had
We're all
much
going to
meat
be
today.
hungry after this.
Yeah.
I love this shirt, but it shows off all my best features.
I like it though. Indy Fuel, baby.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We got a game tonight. We got to keep the win streak going.
All
Our win
right.
streak of one.
One
Right now.
Nice.
Yeah, but that's okay. It's better than the losing streak of 4 we were on previously.
Yeah.
That's true. That is very true.
So all of that to say, just be mindful about what you're eating and what you're going to be doing. Like, if you want to fully experience a cigar, hey, maybe you shouldn't go to McDonald's, eat a Big Mac and a large fry, and like,
No.
I mean, my goal would be like, pray to God that Sprite I ordered is doing something to cleanse my palate.
Yeah.
But like, chances
diet
of-
Sprite, because if you're eating a Big Mac and fries, you gotta get those empty calories out of there with a full Sprite.
Right,
Oh,
right.
I'm drinking regular. Hey, if you're gonna go,
If he's already going in for the
might
Big
as
Mac and
well,
fries, yeah.
you might as well just commit.
Well, I do smoke cigars, with kind of a purpose, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those. Is this where I'm wanting to be critical, or I'm wanting to think about it? It's a new cigar, and lots of times I'll go out and pick a new cigar as my first smoke when I come in here.
Yeah.
If I'm going to sit and have a couple.
Yeah.
My second and third, I'm going to things that I know.
Yeah.
Right. I'm kind of done with the critical nature, and now I'm just going into full relax mode.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, it's a cigar lounge. You get to
Yeah.
hang out with
Oh,
your friends
absolutely.
and have some drinks, and
Yeah.
after you get a couple bourbons in, at that point you're just kind of like, I'm going to go with things that I'm happy with, and I can sit here and not think about it.
Yeah.
Right? I enjoy them. They're pleasant, and I'm good with
Yeah.
doing all the rest of the stuff.
And,
But don't write a review on that third cigar you're doing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. That's what you don't do.
And you've seen this. We've actually recorded before later in the evening where we've already had 2 or 3 cigars, and it's hard to pull notes. I mean, you really have to go with something really bold and strong at that point to even pull out the high notes.
Like, I don't have an issue 2-3 cigars in product testing.
No,
like, for stuff
not
to
at
come
all.
in.
Not at
Because
all.
a lot of times there are distinct flavors I'm looking for in the cigar. Like, I'm not going to write a review on that cigar, but if it doesn't have complexity like we like, or if it's got a freaking brown paper bag note for the first inch of the cigar, some vegetalness and some ammonia, it's like,
It's not going to last an inch.
I'm glad I didn't start my day
Yeah.
on this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and that coming back to the cigar side of things, I've been listening to a lot of the interviews. There's probably 15 different podcasts and shows that are putting out interviews from the TPE show this last week.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind how many people are just blowing sunshine up the people that interviews asses when, like, one brand in specific, I'm not going to call them out.
Luciano?
Yes. Everyone is like talking nice about this guy and excited about everything he's doing, but the guy's an absolute asshole.
He's in a
treating-
lawsuit with Crown
in a
Heads right now.
lawsuit. He's doing crappy things. Even one of the guys that came on one of the podcasts with him was blowing sunshine up his ass, and he's the one that's been the most vocal about how bad this guy is, and he's going to be switched because this company, I'm not going to say their name, this company is actually having their cigars made at Luciano's factory. He's been blasting the heck out
Does
of
it
them ever
start
since
with
all
an A?
don't do it. I don't want to call him out. But he was having them made there. Now, I mean, he may be stuck. I don't know what kind of contract he has with them, but I'm like, this is all fake. People are listening to these shows to get real stuff, and I mean, the same way with a crappy cigar. Don't smoke and see how great this cigar is on a podcast if it's your first time smoking it. You don't have to crap on it. I mean, just say that's not my thing.
Not my cup
We
of
don't
tea.
we don't even put cigars on here unless we know we like them.
Well, and there's a big difference, right? Because when you're talking about a cigar, there's so many different elements. It's like, hey, you have a great tasting cigar, and it was falling apart in the first third of it.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Construction, or I had to relight it 40 times to keep it going, right?
Yeah.
So
Or
there's other
I
elements.
cut
there.
the cap and it just fell
Fell
off.
apart.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you can be honest about it, right? You don't have to be mean or anything.
No.
It's just like, hey, look, you got good stuff going on, but you got to figure out how to make your cigars better.
And
Well-
luckily, we aren't doing cigar reviews here in the typical sense.
No.
All of these cigars, either Rob or I or both of us have said, yeah, that deserves a spot in our humidor. We like those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll never put well, I can't say never, but I typically would never put on a new cigar that we've never smoked and we said, let's smoke this on the show for the first time and pair it. I mean, you don't know what you're pairing at that point, first of all. And I don't want to sit here and crap on someone that it's their baby and it's their brand.
Yeah.
I don't want to crap on them because someone obviously likes them or they wouldn't have a brand selling them.
Yeah.
So
things
but-
said in private versus
yeah,
things said in
exactly.
public.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, no,
and-
I just got to the second third of this, and I'm getting some transitions that are quite
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
nice. What are you
Yeah,
getting?
I'm getting a little bit more chocolate note, which I did not expect out of this. I would call it more of like a peppery milk chocolate, which is, yeah, I know. It's really nice.
That,
that creamy
red
smoke.
pepper
It
is
is very
laying
creamy.
on the back of my palate right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and it's distinctly in the retro hail. Like, this is not a Like this cigar is spicy through and through.
Yeah. Which if you've smoked it, the knuckle sandwich Habano, you know that spice in the retro hell. This is just the same. It's very similar to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
not-
know if it's as spicy as the Habano, but it's definitely up there.
I can't do the retro hell on demand. It's always kind of accidental, but
Yeah.
I've managed to get it a couple times, and yeah, man, it just absolutely hits you. And it is definitely more red pepper in the retro hell to me, but I find it to be more kind of the black pepper or in some cases kind of chili pepper on the palate.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And
that crushed red pepper obviously it's kind of its own unique animal, right?
Yeah, and it's also getting very leathery right now too for me.
I could see that.
Getting a lot of leather on the tongue.
I think Isaiah's over there thinking I wrecked my palate this morning. Doesn't know what
I'm
I'm
not
talking
over
about.
here thinking about
I'm
it.
tasting McDonald's sausage and egg
Exactly.
right now.
So, Scott,
Yes, sir.
it's your first time on the show.
It is.
I got 2 questions. Maybe it's 6
Maybe 3,
questions. For
somewhere
you.
in there.
Okay, great. All right, bring it.
So, budget, everyday, special occasion, and it both for cigars and whiskey. Like a budget pour, something that you always keep. It's your well bottle. Every day is something. It could be that you're going to right now. Special occasion could be. I've only ever had the opportunity to have this once, but if it was available, this is what I want for like my anniversary for big milestones. So same for cigars. Like, and budget doesn't have to be like, oh, here's my $5 stick. I always
Right.
smoke. It's
Yep.
just like, what's a cigar you don't feel bad about smoking and putting out? You know.
Yep.
What's your everyday cigar? If you have no clue what else to smoke, what are you smoking that day? And then what's your special occasion?
All right, so let's start kind of on the whiskey side of things because I think whiskey the budgets have kind of changed. I've been
that's
drinking
true.
bourbon since 15, not legally, but
21,
21 of
yeah,
course,
21. Yeah.
And I started out with Jim Beam, but the funny thing is being a young guy and liking bourbon when. This was before any of the bourbon craze, right? I'm 43, so this is a long time ago, and that was when you could still walk in and find any of the antique collection, and there'd be boxes of them sitting there. And at the time, of course, I wasn't going to spend $120 on a bottle of whiskey. But to me now, if I just look at kind of my go-to, I like things that are on the higher proof side. So like a Russell's Reserve. Is pretty good. I always enjoy that. There's a lot of barrel picks out there, so you can get some
where do
really
you put
unique
that?
elements. That would be kind of like just I can go to it anytime, any day. That's just that's like my kind of just entry level, and you can find those for relatively inexpensive.
Yeah,
they're
they're like 70 to 90.
Oh no, dude! I'm finding if you go to some of these places, you can find them $45. I'm talking the Russell's Reserve 10-year.
Oh, 10.
Oh,
The
10.
10.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
the Russell Reserve 10-year.
Yeah,
My
like
apologies. I
stupid.
guess
You're
I should be
13.
more.
Yeah, no, you're good.
You're going up on me. No, come on,
Yeah.
man. I'm saying just the Russell Reserve 10.
Yeah.
And there's lots of variations in them, so I
There
like
is.
that.
Yeah.
Now my one that's not my daily drinker, but it is my go-to. That's not special occasion or anything. I still gotta go with the Old Forester 1920.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
it's
with you.
$60 a bottle. It's just a little bit on the higher end for what a lot of people prefer to spend on any kind of daily drinker. But it's fantastic and it's available everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
And I love that, right? When they came out with that, I think they said they got third in the World Spirits competition in San Francisco with that.
And they deserve it.
Yeah, and first and second, I don't even think you can find them. There were some one-offs or something that year. So the fact that you get that and you can find it on the shelf all the time is incredible.
Yeah.
I'll tell you outright, but I want to add commentary onto my special occasion. Okay. Because my special occasion would be a Thomas H. Handy.
Okay.
Right,
Nice.
and, which is a rye. I know it's not a bourbon, but
we do whiskey.
Yep,
We do whiskey.
yeah, but that's absolutely my if I see it and it's not outrageous, I will usually get it from one year to the next. And I know there's some changes all the time happening, so some years are better than others. But I just really like that product. That being said, I think that all people that discover bourbon they go through some transition stages, right? Right, we all find that, hey, you're the Blanton stuff is like, oh, that's everything, and everybody goes chasing after it. And then you kind of grow up a little bit, and then you start, branching out, and you find some of the antique collection or Pappies and some of these things that you just hear about, and then you get to try them, and you're exploring some of the unique Jack Daniels lines. That to me is kind of like the intermediate bourbon drinker, right? They're still getting the stuff that's kind of the mainstream. Where I'm at now, when I'm going special occasion, I'm going out and seeking people's palates and their single barrels to see if my palate matches theirs.
Yeah.
And if what they like and what they pick is what I like. Because then I'm going to go seek out those bottles, right? Whether it's a club or an individual or a store or whatever it may be. And to me, that's more special occasion because I think you're getting something that is completely unique and you may never be able to get it again.
Yeah.
And what's more special than that?
It tops on a barrel proof whiskey, you're talking 220 bottles out of a 53-gallon barrel. And that's like if the barrel was perfectly sealed the entire time, nobody thieved out of it.
Yep.
Like, so realistically, you're talking like 160, 180 bottles out of that.
Yep, typically.
Which is less than goes out to the market for a lot of those huge special releases.
Well,
Exactly.
and that's a great tip that you just said. If finding people they're like Fred Minnick or Alan Bishop or some of these guys that put out lists and it's like you try some of the barrel picks that they claim or they pick, maybe it's somebody that picks barrels.
Yeah.
You find someone and you find what you really like from them. It's going to make you go back to that same guy that's picking because he's got a palate similar to yours. Now all of a sudden you're wide open on a bunch of
You're
different
not chasing
picks.
bottles. You're chasing what the palate
Their
is.
picks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Speaking
That's a great way to
of
do
chasing bottles, and I'm kind of interrupting your
okay.
segment.
No, not at all.
One of the bottles I've been on the lookout for like the past 4 months has been the Old Forester single barrel proof rye.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
That's
out
the
there,
green
yeah.
bottle, and secondary is like 225. But I had never been able to try one.
Yeah, I've not seen. Wasn't that a distillery only release?
Some of them did make it out to the stores.
Okay.
So it looks like an Old Forester single barrel proof, which is typically the blue label, except it's green. That's a bottle that I have thought about many times. Like, man, I'm sure I would like that. I was in Nashville last week. Got the opportunity to try it. It sucked.
Oh man.
And,
that's such a disappointment.
It's not a disappointment to me, man. Like, it was one of those bottles that, like, had me gassing. Like, I really, just looking at the label, loving Old Forester, loving Rise, I thought, this is going to be all the way up my alley. Like, and there's a lot of bottles that come out like that, but I was able to try it at a friend's house. He had one open, and I said, you care if I try it? He said, oh, absolutely not. He said, you won't be impressed by it. And he was correct. I was not impressed by it.
Yeah. Was this Isaiah?
Yeah.
Which he knows your palate, so he knew you didn't like it right off the bat. So
See, that's the second and only the second Old Forester product I've ever heard anybody comment on. The other one I've had is their birthday bourbon.
Yeah.
And I know that's sought after a lot, but I have to admit, I've not found a single release of that I really care for.
I've only had 2, and I wasn't impressed with either
Yeah.
one, especially for the price point.
And again, it's it's a palate thing, which is why I'm now chasing, the
But
palates.
I think a lot of times those bottles like a birthday bourbon or like your Pappies, those become more of a status symbol than they become actual.
Yeah.
Like whiskey. Somebody was kind enough to let me try a Pappy 15, and I thought to myself, okay. That's basically where I was with it.
Yeah.
It's a solid pour. I don't think it was balanced in any way. I think it was too low proof. Like, it's 107 proof. Pappy Van Winkle 15. And, like, it just didn't do anything special for me. So
they came from a time when there wasn't a huge bourbon selection, and so
Yeah.
those were the special releases, right? And now we're very fortunate that there's been such a growth in the bourbon market that there's more unique stuff coming out, right?
Yeah.
The wood hats and some of these, really kind of out there brands that now we're starting to see so much special stuff, and that's why I say the people that make that transition,
Yeah.
that get past the kind of general release
Yeah,
that's when they really start to grow.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, now so cigars.
Cigars. Okay, so it's kind of funny. My I don't even smoke it as much as I used to because I'm here all the time, and you don't sell this one.
Not yet. I may eventually.
But the Oliva Serie V,
Melanio.
the Melanio is just kind of a like that's one I can always turn to, and I like it because again, like the Old Forester, it's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
It's not a particularly boutique brand of any type, and it's kind of readily available. So if I'm on vacation, I find myself without, or I'm out somewhere and that's available. Man, that's a pretty easy one just to go grab out of the box and feel real good about.
Yeah.
Boy, for let's see here, probably budget. I don't know that I really have a budget cigar.
Okay.
I think I really buy into Rob's mantra of life is too short to smoke cheap cigars. Not to badmouth anybody else in that respect, but
Sure.
I'm not smoking 8 cigars a day, right? If I'm fortunate and I'm able to smoke a couple cigars a day, I'm very, very happy. And I'll go 2 or 3 days if the weather's really bad. If it's Sunday and Monday and Rob's not open, or I'm out somewhere and too busy with work, then I'm not gonna go stop off at some gas station and grab whatever they have out of their little desktop or tabletop humidor there. Mm-hmm. I'd rather be able to enjoy it. I think smoking cigars is something that I do very deliberately, to be around people and to enjoy the company and most of all take time. Because you have to take time to smoke a cigar.
Yeah.
So I really don't have a good answer for you on that one.
It's all right.
But the special occasion, and I really like special occasions. Yeah. If I can find a special occasion, I try, right?
I've heard you love throwing parties.
I do throw some pretty significant parties. Yeah. Yep. If it doesn't reach 200 people, it's disappointing. But the year of the ox, man.
Yeah.
I am just such a fan of that thing.
Still got a box on the.
I know you do. A whole box, man. Yeah, that's tempting.
It is good. 20% off, baby.
It's a good sale.
That's a really good sale. Again, I'm glad my wife is not watching this, right?
Sorry, Janelle.
Sorry. Yeah. But I really like cigars that transition. Especially if I'm wanting to pay attention. If it's not, I'm just sitting there on my second or third cigar, I don't care as much. But when I'm just wanting to sit on my back porch and just really, dive into something, that cigar to me is just spectacular.
And the year of the ox, for those you don't know, that's La Galera. It was a special release cigar last year that they put out, and it's a big cigar. I mean, it's like smoking 2 cigars.
Which means it's really a value at what, $20?
$22, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's definitely a value for that because, I mean,
It's
not like transitioning third to third. It's like 4 or 5 transitions.
I would agree with that very much. It's so big.
And it's like a 3-hour smoke.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Sometimes 4 for me.
Yeah. I have smoked it while driving, and I'll get over 3 hours out of it. First of all, that's kind of a hard cigar to have in the car because of its length. But it's really nice to not have to light another one like halfway through.
Which makes sense why truck drivers smoke a lot of those 660s, 770s, and 880s because you light it up and you get on the road.
A lot of those giant ring gauges just fall apart, though. Like, they flake.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the really big ring
but
gauges.
if you're driving a truck and it's somebody else's truck, you don't care if it flakes everywhere.
I care in my car. Of course, my car is a mess as it is, but, like, I don't want ash everywhere, too.
No.
If I smoke in my truck right now, Janelle will kill me.
Oh, yeah?
Since I just got that truck. Yeah, she's going to make it last for a while.
How long do you have to wait before you can smoke in it?
Oh, man, I'm betting I'm going to have to go a year. Hey, Brad.
Oh, man.
Oh, I just called somebody out, and I'm out of whiskey.
It's all good. Oh,
Get your pour.
Get some more here. We got more.
All right. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, man.
That's a friend and a customer of mine. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm really, really, really hoping that Peach Street shows up before we get going.
Not looking like it. We're waiting
good.
on FedEx, but I'm
He's
really
always. You need more? Or are you good for now?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I am really excited about getting that one in for
God,
sure.
I am excited. I can't wait to try it at 122.4.
Yeah.
You know, it's. I do want to bring up since we're talking about barrel picks and that one coming in. Obviously, this week and everybody that's watching this next week is going to be disappointed. But you did bring back the one case of your first barrel pick.
Yeah.
And going back to that, man, that was a really excellent whiskey.
It's pretty special.
You know, that's where Rob and I met.
Yeah.
Really?
Was
Oh,
on
I
that
did not
barrel
know
pick.
that. Wow. Okay.
Everybody else liked a different barrel, and Rob and I were like, "This is the best one. You got to be kidding me!" And later, Rob said, "Don't worry, man. I'm buying that for my shop." I said, "What are you talking about?"
He's like, "You have a shop?" I'm like, "Yeah, Cigar Whiskey Lounge." Really?
Oh,
I think it was like the
man.
next day or two you came up here and we sat outside. Place hadn't even been built out yet. I mean,
Yeah.
we just took
It was
possession
a
of the
shell
building.
of a building.
And we're outside in the front
I brought
on
by
lawn
a
chairs.
whole crate of whiskey. It
Oh,
was just
wow.
like, "Yo, check this out." We sat out in the parking lot in lawn chairs and smoked 2 or 3 cigars.
And just drank.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where we bonded, was over that bottle. And next weekend, I mean, it'll be hard pressed if we have any left by next weekend.
Yeah.
But we might still.
Yeah.
But it's definitely really good.
Yeah. All the barrel picks you've had in here have been really fantastic.
They really have, and they're all been pretty different too. And Peach Street's gonna be no different, and the Spirits of French Lick will be no different.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I'm excited about that one.
I am too.
I'm
I am
really
too.
pumped about that one. I need to get back on drinking some of that Butchertown brandy and
Yeah.
get back into that a little
Yeah,
bit.
so this is the guy that got me connected with the Butchertown brandy, which I think I told you this. Alan Bishop, the guy at Spirits
Yeah.
of French Lick, is the one that was on the Butchertown brandy when he was with Copper and Kings.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, you know he knows how to make brandy.
Yes, there is no question. If you haven't had the Butchertown,
It's good.
it's spectacular. If you get a chance to get down there, I really loved the tour. It just blew my mind when they said, "Yeah, we don't rotate our barrels; we just shake them with subwoofers at night. Just crank the music up."
Nice.
And that was pretty awesome. I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah.
And then having the ability to fill your own bottle straight from a barrel. So they, had a Sierra Nevada stout, and they had filled it with their brandy, and then you go
wow.
ahead and pull out your own bottle. It was a fun experience.
pretty cool.
Yep.
That's cool. How you doing, Kevin?
Obviously, this is the featured stick.
It is. Yep. For our next week's show.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Yep.
What is it?
It's the chef special from Espinosa and Guy Fieri, the knuckle sandwich. Yep.
What are the notes?
It's gonna be. I mean, it's got it's a Habano, so you're gonna get that Habano spice, just like the other Habano.
You have it on the helmet?
Yeah, it's in there too. So yeah, it's a really good cigar.
Yeah.
Medium full.
I'm going to try one out.
All right.
Yeah, you guys talked about having to touch up. I'll tell you, this thing burned.
I
Dead
actually
even.
didn't end up needing to touch
Nope.
up after.
I touched up one time. It was just because I had to recut it, but other than that, it's
gotcha.
been good.
Yep.
Yeah.
A little offset on the draw at the beginning. Mm-hmm.
I'm intrigued by them saying they don't rotate because they shake them with subwoofers. Like, a lot of time, barrel rotation isn't to re-wet a barrel, which I imagine you could accomplish with subwoofers.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have
But-
temperature fluctuation because
Okay,
they're
that would
aging
be-
underground.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
so
since
no
it's
need.
brandy,
No need. Yeah.
exactly. It's just not the same process, right? They're
Yeah.
not. They don't want the heavy elements of the barrel in there. Even with the finishes, I mean, brandy is so, kind of light in flavor
Yeah.
anyway. It's not like you're getting something real big and aggressive.
Yeah.
I think the only reason the Butchertown really stands up to most of your bourbons is because it is barrel proof.
Yeah.
Which is not common, right?
No,
I mean,
it's
brandy's
not.
your cognacs, right?
And
Same
by
thing.
barrel proof, it's high proof.
Oh, it's
yeah.
what
so
is
it's
it? I
like
think
126, 125, somewhere
Oh,
in that
I
range.
thought it hit 130.
Did it? No, I don't
know.
think so.
Okay. Well, I
It's
think
up there.
their target is 135
I can tell you.
most of the time.
So it is 124 proof.
124. Okay,
Yep, yep.
gotcha.
So, I mean, it is common practice amongst bourbon, unless you're a big brand, to rotate your barrels because you're kind of worried about the stuff up top, especially if you're in a warmer climate like Tennessee or Kentucky. Stuff up at the top of the rick house is going to leach out all the water, and you don't want that proof to keep going up because that brings other issues in later.
Yeah.
And the stuff at the bottom of the rick house typically will lose ethanol. Like that's what's seeping out of the barrel. Unless you're at a place like George Dickel over at Cascade Hollow, they have what have been described to me as mud floor rick houses. So it is such a moist environment in there that they are all just leaching ethanol.
Oh, wow.
Which is an interesting thing, but that's why you can have some 17-year George Dickels come out at like 97 proof.
Interesting.
And they're pretty close to cask strength at that point and drink like mouthfeel everything. Finish is like a barrel proof. But like over at Jack Daniels, they don't rotate their barrels because they don't care. Like they don't have to.
Right.
Yeah.
Their number one product is Old Number 7. And there are thousands and thousands of barrels that go into a batch of Old Number 7.
Yeah.
They're
So-
going for that one specific flavor.
That's it.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
No, I mean, and they'll pull special releases out of those rick houses, and sure, they can definitely produce that. But, man, your number one product from there is Old Number 7.
Yeah.
You can blend those barrels however crazy tasting they might be to that profile just because you have so many
Yeah.
to work with.
Well, I'm impressed that they've been able to maintain that. I've got a cousin of mine she found at a garage sale, one of these old porcelain Jim Beam bottles.
Yeah.
And it had the tax stamp on it.
Oh, wow.
Now, she also got one from my cousin, and his did not, so it had gotten some air into it. And he said that he thought that it was different than original Jim Beam. But when I cracked mine, because I don't collect bottles, I drink bourbon, right? So when I cracked mine and tasted it, I was like, this is like a mid-70s. And I mean, this was a year ago. It tasted like Jim Beam.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
that was really impressive, actually. I mean, you can like Jim Beam or not like Jim Beam, but to be able to maintain a consistent flavor profile with all the variations and palates for your tasters and blenders.
And I'm sure if
Man.
you were to do a direct side by side, you notice some difference.
I'm sure there
but
would be.
It's,
Yep.
I have had a lot of those Jim Beam decanters. Like one of my buddies, he has one that's in a cat-shaped porcelain container, and there's
Right.
one that's a duck, and
Yep.
there's a turkey one. And of course, you got to remember this is a time in whiskey in America where everyone was drinking clear spirits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had to do stuff in decanters to be able to stand out and like actually get people to buy their product.
Yeah.
So-
It's amazing bourbon survived the 70s, to be honest. I mean,
Oh, it is.
nobody was drinking it.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, some of them are absolutely tainted and just nasty.
Yeah, and you have to watch
And-
out because some of those decanters have some
Lead.
lead in them.
Yeah,
so
but
you got to be
can
cautious.
You can actually get the lead test strips at like Lowe's and Home Depot. But hey, a little bit's not killing it.
No,
Nah.
no.
So,
I mean, if you sit down and drink the whole bottle in one shot, then I don't know, maybe
you might
maybe
have a rough
an
couple
issue.
days.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, it is really impressive how these heritage distilleries, like, they have their signature today, and it's just exactly like it used to be back then. Like those old Beam decanters still have that Jim Beam peanutty brown sugar
Yep.
quality,
Absolutely.
and it's just there.
Yeah. And that's, you bring up the really good point. They don't have to worry about rotating barrels. They don't have to move them at all.
So this cigar is getting into a lot of that rye toast right now.
Oh, I can see that.
Really nice. I mean, a lot of times if you're like, I feel like I'm over puffing. I'm trying to catch up with Scott over here.
I always
you.
smoke fast.
But,
I'm terrible about it.
But I'm not. I don't feel like I'm getting into the char like you normally get when you start over puffing it. But it's definitely got that rye toast. The pepper's kind of laying in there too.
I think my
whiskey
pepper's
is
died
getting
a
a
little
little
bit.
sweeter.
I think my pepper's kind of.
I haven't really I need to retrohale again. Mine. I'm just getting the pepper on the tongue. It's like the flavor of black pepper, not the spice.
Gotcha. Yep.
The whiskey for me has transitioned to almost a kind of a more floral honey type sweetness.
Yeah.
It's
Definitely
not,
sweeter than it was for
yeah,
sure.
but it's not a dark caramelized sugar sweetness. It's kind of that natural. Like,
It's almost not maple, but they're almost like kind of a molasses maybe. Maybe that's just the rye toast in me thinking about that too. I
don't know.
But there's a sweetness there that's not quite honey, not quite maple, but something there that I'm enjoying.
yeah.
Hey, Lisa, could you please bring me a water when you get a chance? Thank you so much. No, just water, fine. Got a little
because
tension
hydration,
back in my throat.
Oh yeah,
hydration is important too.
Yeah, it is.
especially after a McDonald's breakfast sandwich.
Right, exactly.
You gotta
Yeah,
hydrate after all that sodium.
yeah.
Dry you out.
Yeah, I'm with you, Rob.
funny.
I did the unsweet tea, so I don't do those empty calories.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I did learn something this morning.
What's that?
So I went out and had lunch, which my granddaughter's lunch is at 10:30 in the morning. And
Who hurt her?
Oh, it's kindergarten, so they start them first at 10:30 for the breakfast or
Gotcha.
for the lunch. So she wanted Chick-fil-A. So I'm like, oh, I'll go down and get Chick-fil-A. She likes the grilled chicken nuggets and stuff. They don't serve those, so you had to get basically a grilled chicken patty from breakfast with no bun. So you get these 2 little chicken patties with some hash browns and fruit. I'm like, this little bitty amount of food for $15. I'm like, but it was a blast. She had a blast. We're sitting out there and everybody was walking by. So we started a game. This probably isn't a good game to start with a kid, but we started a game that every time one of the people went by and said, "Oh, you got Chick-fil-A, I'm jealous," we'd take a drink or take a bite of food. Luckily, she was drinking unsweet tea and I was drinking unsweet tea, so it was all right. But yeah, so she's in on the drinking game.
You're prepping her for college already.
Exactly.
What a great
Yeah.
influence.
Oh, yes, she will. Kayla will be very happy. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun.
It'll be fun when she finds out because she tells her mom, about this,
she will.
or just does the game one time. Hey, mom, let's do
Hey,
this
Mom.
game.
Yeah, no, someone says Chick-fil-A, she's going to say, "Drink, Mom, drink." Where'd you learn that from?
Rob plays drinking games with his grandkids.
Yes. Hey, she's 6. Come on.
Ah.
Gotta start them at some point.
Yeah.
Hey, I have had a kegerator in my house forever, and I had my kids at 3 filling beers for me out of the kegerator.
And they didn't even touch it to drink it until they were 21.
Of course not.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's absolutely true. But it was funny because they would start, people would come over, "Do you want a beer?"
Oh,
and
that's funny.
they're like, yeah.
It's a
I
little weird.
Go over to the kegerator and come back.
5-year-old stumbles over
Exactly.
and gives you a
They got
beer.
exactly, 1 finger worth of foam on the beer. It's just poured perfectly. It's like, hey,
That's
you can't
great.
get that good in a bar.
Training these kids for B-dubs.
No doubt. That's great.
Can't work anywhere else. I'm sure you'll be able to pour Bud Light at a B-dubs.
Exactly. Yep.
That's funny,
Yeah,
man.
That's why, and you and I both talked about this. Like, the people that are very strict with their kids and are like, no alcohol in the house and don't be around alcohol and stuff like that. I feel like all that does is it trains kids to, when they hit the time where they can do it, or when they're in high school and they can find someone to buy it for them.
Yeah.
They're just sneaking in and stuff. It's like, make it normal. I mean, if you make it normal if you drink, obviously if you're getting hammered in front of your kids, you got a problem.
Well, it's one of those things that frustrates me, and not to get into any kind of politics or anything, but from a state law perspective, that Indiana is one of 16 states that does not allow anyone under the age of 21 to drink. Period.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, 34 of them, do have some sort of exception, whether it's 18 years and
in-home with your
kind of
parents.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think that's really important, education about it. I used to brew a lot of beer, right?
Yeah.
Home brewer. And I would have both my daughters out there and they'd be helping me. And to be honest, it really helped them in school because I was talking about biology,
Yeah.
right? And you're talking about yeast and how it interacts and the fact that it's a living organism that is, consuming food and we like what it puts off, right?
Yes.
It's- and they also, they're like, yeah, Daddy likes poop water, It's kind of funny. But,
Yeah.
But yes, I do, okay?
You made some terrible beers.
Hey, I made some good ones too. I did all right.
Everybody that brews has made at least one terrible beer in their life.
I've made more than one, that's for
Yep.
sure.
Yep.
Yeah, but it was a fun and interesting process to be able to do it, and a lot of fun to share it with my kids growing up.
Yeah, I just think that, and I don't know if you guys saw this law. I don't know. I can't remember. We talked about this maybe on Wednesday, and if we did, I'm sorry, guys. But California is pushing a law right now through where anybody born after 2006, if that goes through, can never buy tobacco for the rest of their life
In California.
in California.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Who are they saving? It's like, now
Do they need
adults
another
can't make
reason
their
to
own
move out of
choices.
California?
Exactly. It's like we're adults; we can make our own choices. I mean, there's, you can get on the whole cannabis things all you want to and stuff. It's tobacco, it's beer. I mean, what are they going to do next? Well, after a certain age, you can't drink anymore.
No salt.
That's it. No, no salt. Well, I mean, New York tried to do no sodas years
Yeah.
ago, and that kind of failed pretty hard. But I'm like, quit policing people on stuff that really didn't matter.
Didn't
And
Prohibition teach us this lesson?
You'd think.
Yeah, the underground soda ring of New York City.
Dude, I need my fix. Can I get some Coke?
They were
A cola.
isn't like straws? Aren't they at least plastic straws? I think they're illegal in California.
I don't doubt that
I'm
at
sure
all.
that there's an underground, plastic straw
Hey,
smuggling group.
We're doing our part here at Final Third. We have agave straws.
Which actually, those
Ooh,
are some of the
there you
best
go.
They are.
alternative straws.
They are.
'Cause they don't break down until they're in whatever landfill or whatever.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, those are great straws.
They are good
actually.
straws.
Yeah.
My problem is with most of the paper ones, you just regret using it.
do.
After like 5 minutes, you're like, this tastes like paper.
it's
Yeah.
falling apart
Yeah.
inside the
Yeah.
cup, and
Yeah, if they're gonna drop off paper straws, I'm usually like, would you just leave like 6 of those? Because
Yeah.
as soon as this starts to taste like paper, it's getting replaced.
honestly, usually if they drop those, I just take the cap off the cup and just drink
Right.
it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I can't stand
Take the
paper
cap
straws.
off your sippy cup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep,
Exactly.
I tell you what, when I was in Nashville, everybody switched over, like for the iced coffee drinks, they've switched over to all of these no straw lids. Well, the idea of it's great, but the factor, like the actual form of these no straw lids, basically leaves you with a puddle of your drink
On top.
of the
Ooh,
lid
no,
after
that's
every
not
sip.
good.
Like you gotta slurp it off, and I was
Yeah.
like,
That's not.
surely someone's created something better. Like, it is easier to drink out of this with no lid, and maybe that's the goal.
I mean, come on, man. What, the last time we went to the moon was like 40 years ago. So obviously we must be on a downward trend here.
Wait a minute.
on-
Did we go to the moon?
I mean,
Did we?
Oh,
That's something we ought to get into one day is conspiracy theories. There's so many
Oh, my
fun
goodness.
conspiracy theories out there.
hey, I've got some family members that you could bring on as special
Oh, I'm
guests.
sure.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
yeah, I'm sure we probably all do, right?
Yeah.
You go to the family reunion, there's that one person that's like, we're being watched right now, man.
now,
Right now.
if somebody wants to sponsor a segment, we could do a conspiracy theories segment.
That would be fun.
And just read one of the posts on r/conspiracy theories on Reddit.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, those are gold.
They're great.
And a lot of times, like, you'll be so far into it, you're like, holy crap, yeah. And then at the end of it, you're like, what did I just read? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember as a kid listening, you'd be on like a late car ride home from, some friend's house or something with your parents, and there was a radio show on. What was that, late night? It was on from like 2 to 4, and the guy was a real big AM radio. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sure there's some folks
No, I don't have a clue.
on the podcast. But yeah, it was on for like 25 years, and it was all conspiracy and aliens.
Oh, that's
and,
cool.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
I dig listening to that stuff.
was
It's
fun.
hilarious.
Yeah, it was a fun
But-
show.
But the problem you have is Lisa's going to ding me for saying the problem is, but
Ding.
you have so many people out there that everything they hear is true.
yeah.
I mean, it's like all the political stuff. It's like if you're right wing and you're watching Fox News, then oh my gosh, Clintons are selling kids outside of a pizza joint. And if you're left wing, it's like, oh my God, Trump is on the island, seducing young children. I'm like, guys, come on.
They were all there together.
They were all there together. They were all there
Everybody
together.
was on Epstein's island.
Exactly.
We know this
Right.
already.
Selling pizza and
Yeah.
kids,
Yeah.
whatever it took. But it's just like it's like all these things. Like people believe what they hear. It doesn't matter what it is. And it's the same way with conspiracies. People jump down the rabbit hole, and as soon as you're in, I mean, that's why flat Earth is still out there. It's like so many people are like, the logic sounds clear. It has to be true. I'm like, anybody can get people to believe something based on a few things they can say. come on.
Hey,
Really?
hey, you know,
Little critical thinking.
I actually found it funny. Have you guys heard of the chemtrail?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
the chemtrail thing. The funny thing is, they actually found out that there was some impact from engines, right? Oh, shocker! If you burn fossil fuels, then there is things that come off of that, right?
Yeah.
Actual like chemicals and things, because it's a chemical process.
Huh,
Yeah.
who would have guessed?
And when you see a jet in the air and there's stuff coming out from behind it, it's happening because the engine is burning, right?
Yeah.
Now, we know it's condensation.
Sure.
But now they can prove, hey, chemtrails are real because chemicals are coming off of those
Yeah.
engines.
So,
Well, yeah, they are. It has happened the entire time that they've been burning fuel.
and you know the rabbit hole on that one is they're putting chemicals in these things to control the masses, and then the government finally comes out and says, yeah, we actually did some of this, and they're like, see, we told you it was true. We told you it was. They didn't say they were putting chemicals in there to control us, guys.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it.
Hey,
People
a conspiracy
are
theory
amazing.
only works if it has a shred of truth to
Oh,
it.
there's
Oh,
always a
right?
little
Yeah.
truth.
There's
yeah.
got to be some.
Yeah.
balloons.
That being said, I would way rather somebody be a conspiracy theorist than believe our government 100%
That's
outright.
yeah. We should
Yeah.
all be a little bit skeptical all the time.
Yeah.
There's a little healthy skepticism.
Yeah.
I learned my lesson. I was down in, I think it was in Mexico, and I went to a cigar shop, and it seemed like an actual pretty good, kind of cigar shop. It seemed like this was a legit place, and they had Partagas there, right? So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'll take a box. I will happily do that again, except I will tell him I will buy the entire box, but you let me cut one cigar open before you charge me. Because then I get back and I look up, okay, how do you know if it's a fake Cuban, right? And this was, I don't know, a decade ago or something.
Yeah.
And of course, I cut one of mine, one of these precious Cubans that I was able to get back into the country.
Uh-huh.
And it was, it was the cuttings.
sweepings.
It was the floor sweepings.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Which means it was still from
Still
there.
Cuban tobacco.
And still Cuban tobacco.
And
but
some Cuban hair.
And it was exact. I mean, it was, I'm smoking my first couple and the draw's kind of tough,
Yeah.
right? And of course, when it's all the cuttings from the floor and you got all that stuff in there. So, you kind of, you learn your lessons a little bit along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing. A lot of people go to Mexico and they think, "Oh, I'm buying Cubans. I'm bringing them back." Mexico has the same laws that America has, that they will not do any trading with Cuba. So you're not getting Cuban cigars in Mexico, even though you can buy a Cuban cigar in Mexico.
Yep.
So it is what it is.
You actually can buy just about anything in Mexico.
You can.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just like here. I
Black
mean, you
tar
can find-
heroin.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Some real shady stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black, white, and green. It all goes there.
All goes there. I got 2 words for you. Made in America.
Made in America.
Who said that, Isaiah?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Your president said that.
Not my president.
Your president said that.
That's funny, man.
Just 2 words.
Just 2 words, man.
Yep.
And he legitimately said, "I have 2 words for you."
And I'd like to say he didn't even stumble out of that, but he stumbles in every speech. So it's not like there's stumbling. Lots of stumbling.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. Anybody getting any changes here as we get down to the final third?
I'm just not quite there yet, but I'm getting there.
I definitely am. It is. It's like rye toast, but it's
Yeah.
sweetening up for me a little bit.
Yeah. I thought the some of the pepper elements. I guess to your point, Rob, as it's continued to develop more of like when you get like a pepper steak and there's that hint of sweetness that
Yeah.
comes from the black
Yeah.
pepper
Yeah.
versus the spice.
Savory.
and it's not char. Like
No, not
some
at all.
cigars, and even in a well blended cigar, you can get towards the final third, and you're getting more of like, somebody burnt this toast, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
which still a welcome flavor in a cigar.
It is.
This is
Yes.
not that though. It's still toasted, but it's not charred right now for me. Palate definitely toward the back of my palate. There's that pepper note in there. It just kind of lingers. And the whiskey's getting a little bit sweeter, but
It is.
it's a really gentle
It is.
really gentle sweetness on
Well,
it.
and I'm almost equating the taste on the whiskey now as like I'm still getting like a hint of the maple, but it's like watered down maple because it's a thinner. It's not the thickness of a maple, but it's
I
like
can
a
see
watered
that.
down maple. The sweetness of like a maple.
You know what it
but
reminds me of is like that. I think it was Fort Hamilton that brought that maple syrup that was
insanely
aged in
good.
a rye barrel.
It was so
man.
good.
Oh my gosh, it was good.
Do we still have some of that for him to try? We might have.
I don't know where it would be.
Yeah, I don't know. I think all we have is some of the rye left, maybe.
I've got some bourbon barrel maple syrup.
Yeah.
That was
See?
from Southern Indiana. It was really, really good.
I'll tell you, Starlight put out a bourbon finished in maple barrels, and dude, you could almost pour that over pancakes. It was
yeah.
maple for it. Was
So
so sweet. If you don't like sweet, it's not going to be your jam. And I don't think Isaiah. I don't think you really liked it that much.
I didn't,
because it
but
was just
when
too
I was
sweet.
in Nashville, I found one that I really liked. My guy Wesley Painter, who used to work at Frugal McDougal in Nashville, he now works at a place called Eighth and Berry.
Shout out.
It's shout out to Wes Painter. Dude does every single barrel pick he does. I love. Like, our palates just match up. He's one of those guys.
So did you get anything from, because Will went out to Frugal McDougal. Did
So-
he find anything that you were looking for?
No,
on barrel picks
I mean,
and stuff?
I was still able to go to Frugal, but
Oh, okay.
Wes wasn't there.
Oh
so-
no, was that? I thought Will went there. You went there.
Yeah.
My bad.
So
Okay.
I was there at Eighth and Berry, which when Wes, who was the single barrel coordinator of Frugal McDougal, moved over to Eighth and Berry in Nashville, which stores aren't but a mile apart. He brought over all of his barrels that hadn't been bottled yet. So even working at a new liquor store with the connections he has, he's not having to rerun the tier system on all of these companies.
Good for him.
anymore, which is fantastic. Like, that kind of shows what sort of guy he is, what sort of relationship he makes with these companies.
yeah.
But he had a bourbon finished in maple syrup barrels from Starlight. And I tell you, like, anything Wesley Painter picks, I love it. It was the most balanced bourbon and maple syrup.
Oh, good.
It like just finished with that hint of maple, and it leaned sweeter, but it was like bourbon with a touch of maple syrup,
Which
And
would make it a whole lot better,
yeah.
for sure.
So the thing that he told me that was different about this is the maple syrup that was in there. The barrel was originally a rye whiskey. Then it got filled with maple syrup. They dumped that out and then threw a bourbon in there. And that seems to make the difference because the best Starlight honey finish bourbon I've ever had was that same way, where they went rye barrel, honey, and then threw a bourbon in there.
Okay.
So something about just that slight bit of spice in there does it a lot of good.
Good. Well, I was talking to Dirk Fence on Instagram, Indiana Bourbon. If you know the guy, he is going to have some new releases. People are going to be picking up here too.
Don't talk about him yet.
I can't talk about that yet.
I don't think he's posted about it publicly.
Okay.
Okay.
All
There's
right. I'm excited about one of them.
couple Starlights coming out that are.
I can't talk about them. I mean,
I don't think he's posted about
I have
it.
a text. I can't talk about them.
Oh, he texted me too.
I can't talk about it. Dang it.
This will come out.
All right.
Maybe just talk about it. Who cares?
Yeah. Okay, I will. So it's and you guys know I do not like Starlight cigar batches. Period. But they've got a rye finished in first used Ambarana barrels, and he said it's really good. And a lot of stuff that Dirk says is really good is really good.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to try that to see if maybe I finally find a cigar batch that I like. We'll see, but that one's going to be one that he's going to be releasing here soon.
Other
apparently.
thing was a
sorry,
French oak.
sorry, Dirk.
French oak double oak bourbon.
Yeah, that was the other
It'll
one.
be
you're talking about.
released
Yeah,
in that same
Ooh,
run.
that sounds really
And,
good.
So another toasted barrel out there.
Another one, man.
I do want to bring up a point here.
Okay.
Rob obviously knows how to start drinking all day when he's pouring bourbon on his pancakes first thing in the morning. I mean, that's
Okay, here's the deal. Morning
would
for
do it.
Rob is like one.
Well, that's a good. You know,
True.
you bring
Yeah.
up a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, I got up real early this morning. I was
So
up by
it's-
9.
Man, Woo, are you okay?
I'm-
you look a little tired.
getting a
You're
little
dragging a
peaked
little
right now,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You're gonna need a nap this afternoon.
I can't nap though. That's the problem.
We're gonna have to brew some coffee from Brick House.
Yep.
I heard about the change.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're going to be. I'll just talk about it. I don't care. We're going to be switching over coffees to a local roaster called Brick House. The Staten family owns the roasting side of that, and they've been longtime family friends of mine.
Shout out
But-
Jared.
Yeah, shout out to Jared and Laura and Jara and Layla. That's yeah. Jara and Layla are their girls, and actually Jara is going to be doing the roasting soon for them.
She's also going to be,
Nice.
from what I
Yeah.
understand, she's going to be, I believe, running the Indianapolis operation because Jared's moving out to Utah.
yeah.
So-
So she's apprenticing the roastery side right now, and gonna do a great job as well. I believe that for
Well,
sure.
and it definitely hits our model here because we like to support local businesses.
Absolutely.
And it's a local business, so it'll be a good coffee for us to have here for sure.
And as much as we love the coffee that we've had previously, it is just wonderful to support local.
It is,
Everything else we
100%.
do, we love to support local. If somebody was making lighters and cutters here in Indiana, we'd
all over
support
it.
them, no problem.
All over it, yeah.
Business opportunity for any of you who's watching out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had, it's funny, I've had, of course, everybody, coming out of the woodwork on, we sell these. You want some samples? And I start looking at, like, lighters have been a big one. You get a lot of these overseas companies. We're making these awesome lighters no one makes. And I look at it and it's like, it's a flint with, they're using Zippo fluid and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Not for cigars.
Just because you make something in the U.S. or wherever,
Still has to be a
still
good
gotta
product.
be good.
Yeah. But you would think we'd have some good. And honestly, even if it was a higher dollar, because obviously if you're making them in China, you can sell them for a lot less than you're going to be making them in America. People would pay for that made in America, those two words.
They really would.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 words.
Two words.
I need a T-shirt that says that.
I got
Two words for you.
you.
Made in America. America.
Merca. Yeah.
Yeah, you got some good local stuff here, man. That Amplify hot sauce, definitely good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of companies here now. We got Amplify, we've got Goods Candies, which they're moving just down the street here, and they're already in Pendleton now. We've got Two Tom's Brewery, we've got Black Dog, we got one
Pax
from
Verum.
Scarlet Lane.
So
We're
you
gonna
got
be more
Pax in
from
there, yeah.
Scarlet Lane, Pax Verum. We got beard oil and beard balm.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm missing some stuff here, but
I'd say a good 15% of our shelf up there is Indiana companies.
it is. Yeah.
Like, as far as whiskey goes. Speaking of whiskeys, we got a couple new ones in this week.
Yeah.
Pulled in the just Wild Turkey Rare Breed. We have had the rye before, but
And it's the barrel proof.
Oh,
Rare
that's
breed.
good. I got
Yeah.
a bottle of that at home.
yeah. Yeah, so Rare Breed, absolutely fantastic. That's another one in that same like 1920 category for
It
me.
is. That's
Yeah.
a
Where
good call.
It's
Yep.
just like it's always good.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with it. Other one we got was the Willet 8-year weeded.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of an expensive pour because it says Willet on it.
Yeah, and I mean,
That's
They're
gonna
proud.
happen.
from what I've seen, I
Yep.
mean, Total Wine's the cheapest around here, and they got it for like $4.49.
Yeah.
Someone said they bought one last year for like $380. So I'm like, it's a high dollar bottle, and honestly, it's more than I would pay for the bottle.
Yeah.
But it's actually, and you guys know I'm not a big weeded guy.
Yeah.
I liked it. It's actually pretty good. So, yeah,
this
that's
is
another
the
one.
best product I've had out of Willet to date.
I agree. I agree 100%.
That's a
with
pretty
that.
bold statement.
It is. The Willets that I have had that were good were like sourced Heaven Hill juice.
Yeah, yeah.
All of the Willet, like purple tops and the Rise, it's like they're solid, but it's like this is actual Willet distillate, and it's good.
Yeah.
I do
Worth
like
it.
the rye. I mean, I like,
Oh, I like
the
the rye,
green
yeah.
top. It's the 4-year.
But it doesn't do anything
it's a little,
special.
It's not special. It's a little raw, which I
Yeah.
kind of like that about it, right? You get a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah.
of that younger element to it.
I mean, something like the Willet Rye and a Sazerac, probably
Oh,
bomb.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a higher price pour. I think it'd definitely be worth a shot to come in and get it because
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to last. I mean, it was an allocated bottle. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you want to try it, we definitely have it for, I know, almost a third of the price of what they're charging for it down in Indianapolis right now from some people who have told me.
That's pretty typical for us, though. The
Yeah.
thing about it is I don't know how much we have left right now because it's a black bottle. Like, I couldn't even tell you how much is left in there.
At least half of it.
Yeah.
And I might have a second bottle in the back.
Good.
Like,
I gotta say, there are some times when I look at a bottle, and I do buy sometimes on the look, and that is a pretty bottle.
Oh, it's beautiful.
yeah.
And it has the signature Willet purple top foil on it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a statement piece right there.
It is.
Especially
It
in
is.
the bourbon world.
yeah.
A lot of people kind of knock on Peerless because they are a little bit higher priced, but man, they do have some pretty bottles, and I really like that topper on it.
Yeah.
I mean,
They got some unique
Have
some.
you had
finishes,
have you had
too.
the Peerless Double Oaked?
I don't think I haven't had
So
that one.
I think that's either a Kentucky exclusive or maybe just a distillery exclusive.
Okay.
That's my favorite Peerless I've ever had. Like, it has a really distinct kind of waxy chocolate note in it.
Nice.
It's really, really good.
Did I ever have you try the Peerless and the absinthe barrels?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that absinthe is way present.
Which
Whoa.
we're absinthe
Yeah.
lovers. So
Yes.
What about you? I don't know. No.
Yeah, I
you're,
tried it.
Okay, you're an
Yeah.
absinthe lover too, right?
Yeah,
Or somewhat. Yeah.
I can get down with it. I'm not
Yep.
going to drink absinthe straight, though.
Dude, I'll tell you what though. Alan gave me a pour of their absinthe barrel finish down there, which I hate barrel finished absinthe. It was a sipper.
I just think
It was
Alan
a
knows
sipper.
what he's doing.
He knows exactly.
That's what it
he's
sounds
doing.
like.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dude's amazing.
If Butchertown is kind of his first example, then I'm very, very excited to have a
Well,
bunch of
and
those
I'm
stuff.
telling you, I am super excited on the pick, but even as much excited to have him come on the show. He's going to come on the show and talk about it. And I've told him, I'm like, I want you to do the history. I mean, the dude's telling me history. They got this one big picture that they put on a big canvas down there, and it's this old picture, the oldest distillery, which is still on their property down there in southern Indiana. The building is still there. That was half tore down because of a storm or something that happened. And all these people are in it. He was telling me the history of every single person in the picture. And by the way, we think that is this person, and this is. It talks about the car, and I mean, spent like 15 minutes telling me the history of everything, all the history in this picture. I'm like, this dude just knows a lot, and I can't wait for him to tell the stories on here. It'll be probably the best podcast.
Is
we've
the
ever done.
history local to the French Lick area?
Yes, Southern
see,
Indiana stuff, and
That
yes.
is a cool. I went down there, took the wife and the younger daughter down just for a weekend because we had never done French Lick.
Yeah.
And it's kind of an Indiana thing to go there. And you find out about the history of it, and that place it's pretty incredible.
Oh, it is.
That was my first time going to French Lick.
Okay, so did you drive by and see the West Baden Springs Hotel and all that?
Yeah, drove around all that. Went to, and I asked the guys. See, every time I go anywhere, I'm like, where do I need to eat here? Because I'm going to eat here. And they both said you need to go to the German cafe downtown. And
Yep.
dude, some of the best schnitzel
Oh,
I've
it's
ever
great.
had in my
Oh,
life.
my
Yeah.
goodness,
It was
yeah.
amazing, and
Yeah.
that's where we're going to be eating during the pick. By the way,
Nice.
You do realize that the tenderloin is a evolved schnitzel.
Yes,
is.
it
Indiana
is.
schnitzel.
It is.
It's
yeah.
because they couldn't afford veal, so they changed it over to pork and made it the same way. And
Yeah.
Indiana tenderloin was born.
Yeah.
Have you guys got on any of the Facebook tenderloin groups out there?
No.
Oh man, Pursuit of Tenderloin.
Pursuit
Yeah.
of
Pursuit
tender.
of
There's a
Tenderloins.
tenderloin.
Yep.
There's like a bourbon trail.
Yeah.
There's a tenderloin trail.
It's like
Wow.
650,000 people on this group
Is Broadway
posting.
Diner on there?
it should be if it's
yeah.
not.
It freaking should be.
I mean, everybody has to go to the place down there near Columbus. What's that? The diner. Oh, of course, now I forget it. But they have the biggest tenderloin.
Do they?
Oh, this table. You can only put one on the table.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, it's enormous. It's an old Dairy Queen that they converted,
Well,
and everybody knows them.
Annie's used to be a real popular one down in Greenfield, and I don't know
Yep.
if it's still there or not. If it
What
got
was it?
killed, Annie's. I think it's
I
called
don't think I know
Annie's.
that one.
A lot of people used to love that. I mean, you got Anita's up here that has a good tenderloin. I'm telling you right now, my favorite is Broadway in this area.
I think so.
I've
For
heard
just
you
a little
talk about
diner,
that. I've
I
not
mean,
been
my
there
gosh.
yet.
We just
tenderloins
keep
are great.
talking about food. This
How do we keep
entire
coming back
episode.
to
We're
that?
fat.
Well,
We're
that's
fat.
there you go.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
Food.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh,
The bank has a good one. I mean, pretty much if you're a restaurant in Indiana, it's not just like a
The
hole-in-the-wall
only
bar, you're gonna have
tenderloin that I
tenderloin.
have not liked in this area, this might be controversial,
Not at all.
Taxman's.
Yeah.
It's a pretty lame
No,
tenderloin.
see, that's fine because I'm also not a fan of Ale Emporium's tenderloin.
I haven't had ales.
I don't
not had
find it
theirs
to be
either.
all that good. Yeah, it's Fox Garden, which is a great restaurant.
Oh,
in the
great.
area.
Oh, yeah.
I think the
Yep.
thing is with like a Taxman in a Fox Garden is they're trying to do elevated like soul food sort of,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
just heavy foods in an elevated way. Tenderloin, man, just keep it cheap.
Oh,
It's
Too
good.
simple.
so that's a great point. What was previously considered like 20 plus years ago the best tenderloin in the world was in Gnawbone, Indiana.
Okay.
There's a gas station there, and it had a restaurant attached, and it was actually in Time Magazine, I think like 3 times.
wow.
Yep. And yes, there is actually a Gnawbone, Indiana, for those of you that are,
Is
maybe
that
out
where
of
Bear
staters.
Wallow is?
Yeah, we're Bear
Yep.
Wallow, just
Yep.
outside of Nashville.
Yep. And now the current, kind of based on what you see on social media, there is a Sunoco gas station in Crawfordsville, Indiana, and people are traveling 3 to 5 hours to have this tenderloin.
Really?
Yes,
In a gas station.
at a gas
We
station,
might
which
need
is
to go on the road.
right. Take a road show.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
That's amazing.
That's where the tenderloin belongs.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that same way about tacos, man. It's like you can go to as many elevated places and get tacos, but really, if your taco is fantastic, it is going to be whatever meat you've chosen. Hopefully, it's not just carne asada, but I will tell you, a good carne asada, like
Yeah, as long
when
as
they do that well, they do it really well.
Terre Haute, Indiana. I think it's called Cactus something.
Yeah.
Mexican restaurant right downtown, just a couple blocks from the big arena there at Indiana State. They have lengua,
Oh yeah.
cow
Oh,
tongue
wow.
tacos, and they are spectacular.
Okay. But a good taco, all it needs is to be served with a wedge of lime,
Yep.
cilantro, and onions on it.
Absolutely.
On a corn tortilla.
Corn.
Corn. Yeah.
And
yeah.
2 corn tortillas is totally acceptable.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. So,
There's a place, German Church in 30th. It's called El Taco Toro. That place has the best lengua I've ever had.
There's supposed to be a place there at 42nd and Franklin
Okay.
that does the marinated pork on the gyro stand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and shaves
Al
it off.
Pastor?
El Pastor. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had that down in Guanajuato,
Yeah.
Mexico. Beautiful
So,
place down in central
if
Mexico.
we want to go
So
hyper local
amazing.
here, Psalm Smokehouse has reopened up.
Yes.
Their
yes.
brisket tacos are delicious. I got those the
Yep.
other night, and they were really good.
Yep.
Now,
Yep.
if you want to go like, I don't call them fast food, but it kind of is. Torchy's Tacos make some great tacos too. If you haven't
You've
been
been
to
a big
Torchy's,
fan. Everybody talks about
I
that.
love
haven't been
Torchy's,
yet.
man.
I'm not a big fan of that style of tacos. I think it's
It's
more
like condados where
it's
you
kinda
get
more
some of the-
Tex-Mex, more fusion than anything.
Yeah. It is a lot of
They got
fusion
some
stuff.
wild stuff in them too. But
Yeah,
I
they're
will
like pickled
say
onions.
the
and some of
Republican's
that, yeah.
amazing.
Yep.
Condado has a good
I don't like condado, man. I don't like their tacos
because you don't like some flavor.
I like
Rob.
no. There was no flavor.
Nah, they're
Oh,
they're
dude.
they're
You need to go
a
to Torchy's.
Korean beef taco at Condado. Really good, but I wouldn't call it a taco. It's not what I want when I'm looking for a taco.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what those ones at Psalms are. They're actually street tacos. And you get 3 brisket street tacos, and they're delicious.
But
and
when I roll up to a taco joint, if you don't have barbacoa, al pastor, lengua, and carne asada, I'm not expecting very much out of you.
Yeah, but barbacoa, I mean, that's kind of, most places aren't serving authentic barbacoa.
No,
no,
Because barbacoa is supposed to be the cheek
Oh, yeah.
meat,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so you don't really find that here
Yeah.
in central Indiana very much. I have heard the new, that new international grocery store that's down there in Castleton.
Saraga.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've heard some really, really good things about that place.
I have not been there, but supposedly there's a good taco joint in there.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm hearing is that their food in there that they actually serve to
Yeah.
you, really spectacular.
Yeah.
I got to get down that way.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Sounds like we
three
need some
fat guys
food.
talking about food. Yeah,
Man, I'll tell you what.
Yep, that's what it sounds
I
like.
think we need to make a road trip. Lisa can hold. She's been holding the joint down so far. We could probably go get some tacos.
Yeah.
That look
I'm getting
says
the death eye.
Yeah, that
No,
look says
never.
no.
No, I think that look said, yes, Rob and Isaiah, you guys can go down to Nashville for the Avs game.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Tough game this week for the Avs, losing.
Yeah, I got-
was that 6-5 that night?
Yeah.
Yeah, bummer.
Seven.
Oh,
They put
right,
one
the
in
empty
end,
netter. Yeah. Yep.
That's okay. I mean, they were on a streak going, and they're doing well. So we're okay losing one here.
Yeah, and the
there.
Bruins are still unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you much of a hockey guy?
No,
You
no,
don't
not
pay
really.
attention. Yeah,
No.
yeah. Wow.
It
That
was-
game last night, 7-1.
Yeah.
Man, that was brutal.
And it was like 3-1 going into the third, wasn't
Oh,
it?
it was
'Cause they
I
put
think
in
it was
three at
3-1
the end.
with like 4 minutes
Yeah.
left, and then they got the empty netter, and then decided to go ahead and just get 2 more. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
This is completely unrelated, and I'm almost finished with this stick.
Yeah, I'm close to
Yep,
it.
But
I'm about done.
I got to thinking about hockey in that game in Bridgestone Arena. Morgan Wallen, who has recently fallen off fame for saying words he should not be saying as a white individual,
Oh, jeez.
is making
Oh, you mean kind of like the Gurkha guy? I got you. Go ahead.
like who?
That's what the Gurkha owner did too.
Or
Go ahead.
Oh,
or
okay.
the Dilbert. I don't know if you heard
Dilberts,
about
yeah.
that. Yeah.
All same.
Okay,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
So same sort of deal. He is working his way coming back onto scene and has a concert. I think it's one of his first shows after his new release music. He just released some more. I don't care about Morgan Wallen. I just thought this is a hilarious like apology tour sort of move.
Apology tour.
He has a night scheduled at Bridgestone Arena, which is huge.
Yeah, that's a good
Thousands
place.
and thousands and thousands. Like, I'm talking, I think it's like 15, 20,000 people.
Oh,
can
I'd
fit
say probably
inside
20,
there.
yeah.
Okay. It's free.
Okay.
Could you imagine the
That's an
money?
apology tour right
it's
there.
an apology tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you imagine the money probably his record label has spent to have a free Bridgestone Arena for the evening?
Yep.
That is absolutely bonkers to me.
Yeah.
But hey, he does have some apologies to be done.
Yes. Yes. No question. A free concert's a good start.
Yeah.
Probably a good start.
Yep.
20,000 people, free entry into Bridgestone Arena.
And the sad thing is, what you want to happen is like 200 people show up,
Right. Right.
but
Yeah.
it's a free show. People
It's
are
people are
gonna
gonna
show up.
go. They're gonna pack
Hey,
the
man,
house. Yeah.
You're
gonna
in
go.
Nashville. Like, it's just going to be. Bridgestone's not too far from like all the honky tonks. So you're
Yep.
just going to have all your bachelorette parties rolling into a Morgan Wallen show just half popped.
Yep.
Maybe all the
Probably
way gone.
fully popped.
all the
I'm
way
thinking
popped,
fully
yeah.
popped. Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
you hit up FGL House and Tootsie's, and then you go to the Morgan Wallen show.
Absolutely. If you haven't
Sounds
had
like a
a
night when Isaiah's in town.
No,
hey, if you haven't had a full night on Broadway in Nashville,
I do not
then
spend
hey,
time
put that
on
on your
Broadway.
bucket list.
I've not been. I haven't been down to Nashville a whole lot.
Guys, hey, I'll tell you. Okay, so I've got family that lives down there.
Yeah.
A cousin and her husband, and another cousin of mine wanted to have a birthday party down there, right? Everybody go to a hotel and go do the Broadway thing.
Oh, I
and
hate
we
Broadway.
did the tractor ride.
Oh, yeah, so you are the scum of Nashville. You are the scum of Nashville.
I'm telling you, if you get the right crowd, because we just did, we
Oh.
had enough people, we did it all ourselves. You got enough people, yep, I would do it again.
Get enough
It
Indiana
was- and it was
rednecks
the
to
day
go.
of the Titans playoff game where they lost to the Bengals last year. So it's just
gosh.
packed everywhere,
Yeah.
Titans and Bengals fans. And of course, we're, my cousin calls it the woo people, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
woo,
Yeah,
all the
no,
time.
you just-
we wooed the hell out of that place.
I believe you did.
we were definitely already half popped on that. It was
Yeah.
like 11 o'clock in the
That's
morning.
Did you
It
guys
was,
start at Frugal McDougal, the liquor warehouse?
man, no, we
Because
didn't.
a lot of
but
them
that's a
start
good call.
there, and they'll like be like, "Hey, go buy you a couple racks of beer."
Yeah,
And,
yeah. You
and-
just get your own beer and carry
Yeah.
it on, and
But
yep, it was a good
it
time.
is, that's an industry to me. There was a guy who lived on on my floor in the dorm freshman year, and he was like really trying hard to make it as a drummer, like in the Nashville scene. And we were all like, whatever happened to him? He is a pedal tavern. What's his title? I don't know.
The pedal cars.
He's
where you're drinking on the pedal car.
He's like a bartender on it.
He's like a pedal tavern engineer, you know.
Oh,
He's
man.
gonna steer the cart for you.
There
and
you
it's
go.
just like, if that ain't the Nashville dream, I don't know what it is.
Right.
that
I will
one
say
down
that
in Indy works pretty hard too.
it does. It does. You know, it's all touristy stuff, but sometimes the touristy thing is fun.
Oh, I believe you.
It is.
I will
Yeah.
never partake, but
You say that, man. You go one time, and you're like, okay, that was surprising. I had a good time.
was yours a pedal or was it a tractor?
No, we were on the
one?
tractor. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. John Deere tractor.
Okay,
And, yep.
because
It was.
I'll see these pedal taverns rolling like all June, July, August in Nashville, and you're like, these people are drunk. They've got to work to get this cart to move. Like you're literally pedaling it.
Yeah.
It's a giant bicycle.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
They're just hammered, trying to get somewhere, and then trying to get them all going the same direction,
Yeah.
pedaling the correct way. Like you
And
wonder
then-
why traffic's so bad.
And then once you get to a spot, you jump off and get more drinks at another bar, and then you hop back on and go to the next bar.
Oh
and
no! You don't do that on a pedal tavern.
You do in Indianapolis, you do.
Oh no, they don't do that there.
They serve it on the
They
on
serve
the
it,
bike.
but they also
yeah.
make stops, don't they?
I don't
Oh, I
think so.
thought
I
the
think
one in
they.
Indy made
Yeah.
stops.
no, they're not allowed
Okay.
to in Nashville. They used to be able to, but traffic was even worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
that way. So
That's funny.
That's not the worst pedal job out there.
yeah.
Okay, I go to the Indy 500 every year, right? You mentioned you gotta come down and check out my camp
Oh,
spot.
yeah.
I've been camping down there. This will be my 22nd consecutive year of camping and going to the 500.
Wow.
And I go down there for a lot of the practice days. And of course, you get Fast Friday, which is before the qualifications, and people go down, they get real liquored up, and there's these guys that they're basically driving rickshaws, right? The bikes that have like the two seats on the back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're for tips only. And I'm thinking, you're at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway where, take your top off and drinking beer is kind of just the name of the game. That's what you do. And the number of people I've seen throwing up over the side of this rickshaw as it's going down the middle of the track there. And I'm
gosh.
like, that's a rough job. Of course, I'm betting they're making money because,
I'm sure they are.
somebody's fully popped and they're handing over a $50 tip. Man, thank you so much for getting me to my car.
Yeah.
You should not be driving, but good luck, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a
Oh,
worse
yeah.
job than doing the pedal bike thing down in Nashville.
Yeah.
So I
I
will
believe
say
that.
another shout out to you here. If you're down at the track and you're walking around some of these little parties where the campers are, and you see a group of guys that are chugging out of a 175 Eagle Rare bottle,
That's us.
That's them.
Yep, it's been going on for about I think we're about 8 or 9 years into that.
Wow.
We have people come down for Carb Day,
Yeah.
the Friday before the race on Sunday, and if you come to my campsite, the requirement is you have to take a hit off of the Eagle Rare 175.
Nice.
And
Nice.
for those of you that may have not seen that is like the Belvedere bottles. They're enormous.
Like that tall.
You can't. If you one-hand it, you better have some good forearm strength.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
'Cause it's a two-hander to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's real fun to pour 2 ounces into a Glencairn here with that, man. You're like,
oh yeah,
Yeah.
trying to lift that bad boy.
They're
Yep.
terrible.
they are.
Yeah. Of course, Eagle Rare was a little bit more accessible 8 years ago than it is now. So I'm fortunate. I got some friends out there that have done the hunt for me, so I don't have to go chase that
That's
one
good.
down.
There you go.
That's good.
So I'm still good. But if I see it on the shelf, I always ask if I can buy 2.
Yeah.
Because it just sits there, sits in my pantry for
Until-
the next year. I
Yeah.
don't really drink Eagle Rare except on Indy 500 weekend.
Which Eagle Rare is a nice pour because you can bring if you bring something cash strength. First of all, like it's way too hot for cash strength.
Yes.
Yeah.
Second of all, you can't drink very much just because of the temperature and the heat before you're gone.
Yeah, we drink a lot.
Oh, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do.
And you start when you wake up.
Yeah, drinking all day. That is the name of the game down there.
What you do at the
No
500.
question. That's what you do. Yep.
Yep, totally.
Yep. Drink, smoke cigars, and watch the cars.
Yep. Minus
Yeah.
the cars, that's what we do here every day.
See, why do you think I come here all the time?
You can watch the cars if you want.
You can watch a train too.
Yeah.
I would say
you
I
can.
think you need to have a board put up here somewhere that somebody could, have like a pool going on when the police pull somebody over that's going over 45.
True.
Right? If you come to the Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge, go 45. Seriously.
Yes,
Do not go over the speed limit. There's 2 police officers, I think, in
That's all they
Ingalls,
got to do.
and they have nothing else to do.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we've done enough here.
I think so.
I was going to say, I think I got to get back to work here in another 5 minutes.
I got you.
yeah.
Well, again, thanks a lot, guys. You can come in, obviously, and get this pairing this next week, and we'll have these available. And yeah, I just want to thank everybody for coming out for our anniversary. It's been a great week. We're excited for our second year. We're gonna have more events. We got some other brands that we've had that have not been in here for events that we're gonna be doing some events this year. So we're working on one with Espinosa. Hopefully get Eric in town to do that. So we'll have some other ones as well. Final Third, Final Fours coming up really soon.
Yeah.
So we'll have Aladino out for that again. It's gonna be a blast. But yeah, come on out and check us out. And you can follow me on Instagram at Final Third Cigar.
You can find me at the Whiskey Pastor.
Oh, you don't have to follow me. It's okay.
Don't follow me.
I'm on.
All right.
I'm
If you
out
want-
there on, but I don't really put all that much. But,
Okay.
but
Follow
come
him
in.
by
Come
coming
in
in here
here.
and seeing
Exactly.
him.
Come
Yeah.
in here. We'll sit down and have a cigar and have a drink and have a chat.
Yeah.
And that's a legitimate offer.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in
walk
here
up and
quite a
introduce
bit, and
yourself. Yeah.
I try to introduce myself to everybody that comes in here, just because
Yep.
it's a friendly place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, thanks a lot, guys, and we will see you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.